Okay, everybody, here we go. The first playthrough of my first stop motion animation slash whatever. It's really long opening, so forgive me. I'll talk in between it though. Day. Hour. Really long. I was doing this in Mario Paint. Slippery. Super Mario Paint. Friends. Went. Postal. Hooray. And it was filmed in '98 with a Tyco KidCam that I got off Preston. He paid $5 for it. He just basically gave it to me. The mic did not work on it. There was no ability to zoom. There was no quality adjustment. What you see is what you get. The quality is so bad because it was plugged up via RCA mono composite to a Shintom mono mono VCR recorder. So, and as you see, the friendly little frog here is sort of starting to have like a panic attack. Something's happening. He's coming under a change. There's something in the air. It's been dispersed. It is now kind of infecting the local wildlife. In this case, frogs. So he's getting juiced up with some angry drugs. So frogs, snakes, lizards. What I do like is, though, the quality, the glitch factor. Every time you mess with the head, the head of the pause button, because the way I was basically doing these segments is I would record either live, little shots, and then I would stop, and I would film maybe still things and move it a little bit, and I was, it was the first time I had any way to do it. I never had a camera access before then. Except one time prior, twice, I filmed some of the wedding renewal ceremony, and I filmed a birthday party one time that was going on at my house for my aunt with her camera, and we rented a camera one time for that wedding my mom and my stepfather had. So now you see some of the little critters, and you see it's just horrible, because it was so hard to press play, pause, record, press play, record, it's just crazy. And any sound effects that you hear, the ambient sound effects are actually they're an effect of the recording setup that I had, which was basically the mic on the Tyco KidCam actually did not work. I knew that when Preston gave it to me. He said, "Yeah, this I can't sell this." It's I don't feel good about selling it. How would you? What do you want? You want it? Oh yeah, sure, I'll take it. And I still have this camera. It's great quality for the fact that I got it for free. You know what I mean? And as you see, it's got such a weird washed out look. Similar to much better quality iToy in a way, but it's got different qualities to it. Now if I could get that digital pause glitch look, with the press of a button, I would love that, because that glitch that happens naturally as a result of the just pausing, starting. I would love to have another Shintom. Just look at that. Look at those stripe bars and all that. Just the random stuff that happens every time the head is initiated. The tape is paused. It was such a crappy quality VCR, and I was doing what it was never intended to be paused, and then no tape moved, literally no tape recorded or moved on the head. It was literally nothing, and then played again. So any sound effects that you're hearing, any sort of things like that was all done with a boom mic. It was like a Logitech boom mic that I hooked up, and I ran it into a computer and then out the sound card. And in that computer we had at the time a Sound Blaster Pro. This was in '98. Yes, I was literally in '98. I was, I turned 18. So I was 18 years old when I made this horrible, flaming pile of poop. But the thing is, the whole issue is that, it was my film. It was something I wanted to make. I wanted to make these little, lizard attacks. And so they're impacted. They're going crazy. There's a car scene, and I filmed that on a Super Nintendo Mario Paint mouse pad, the plastic ones, because I had used Mario Paint for so much of the thing. So I had this little, freeway scene, and there's our SUV sort of, it was before SUVs were like a thing. You had Jeeps and so forth. That was what they were called. You didn't have SUVs as a thing. Wasn't as huge now as a whole like genre of car, vehicle. And you have, one particular sort of, car and combination of lizard kind of picked out in particular. And that car spun out, and out of it spun one of Jessi's. Now, mind you, some of these cars were mine, some of them were Jessi's, some of them were both of ours, and I picked one of her Barbie dolls and, started moving her around. Basically, I was using my fingers on her head in such a way that you couldn't see my fingers, but she's moving around. And when she has to get up off the ground in a minute, you can see it's obviously she doesn't have knees, so it's not like I could bend her knees, and it's like I literally had to make her like rise like Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi. I didn't even say that right though, but there's a certain way to say his name properly. I have seen it before, heard it. Okay, so here we go. The poor victim, the innocent generic. Nobody knows how much she cost Barbie. Rising like Bela Lugosi. Her own version of a vampire. And our lizard buddy, who's been taken by the sickness that's been dispersed in the air. And I had all kinds of lizards. I had snakes, I had frogs. I just had all kinds of stuff specifically for this purpose. And I had different things scaled down. So there, she's freaking out. And she's getting attacked. The lizard's just having his way, chomping on her. Now, I had a hand puppet that was standing in for the face. To close a zoom in. So you'll see that in a second. So that's actually two different scales. So there's the puppet. I mean, obviously it doesn't match color-wise, but it's what I had to work with. So, chewing on her leg. Huge, way huger than it was in the first shot. Of course, it doesn't work. But it was what I had, and it was fun. It was fun making these little voices. It was fun doing the thing. I just had fun. You'll see some interesting things coming up, and I'll tell you some history about that. But this was basically filmed with, I had to run cable from the living room. There was a long, long cable that came with this camera. I had to run that all the way into the other room, into the computer, then run that output with other cables back into the VCR to record it. Because the VCR and the computer were in two different rooms. One was in the living room, one was in the dining room, and they were far apart. So it was an issue to get it all done. It was quite laborious. And as you see, here it is again. The lizard is coming back to attack some more. But before he can, he's stopped by a passerby that is vigilante justice. Thinks he can go and do it, so now we have a chase scene. And that's that. That or another one of those Jeeps you saw earlier. Who's to say? Are they the same? Maybe they're different. It's black and white. Can you tell? No, I can't. And the lizard managed to get behind the truck, and then I had the other scale. Obviously different vehicles, but they had to stand in for close enough. And knocking him over. Now, of course, I'm a big fan of the giant Gia monsters. It's a hot rod and lizard film, and this is where I drew a lot of my inspiration, obviously. And I like that shot because it's panned over, and you kind of see the lizard getting away. And even though it's not the best, it's a good angle, I think. It works as an angle. It could work in another higher quality shot. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Right here. This is difficult. That's a fire you see. The burned out car. The lizard getting away. but yet deciding to make a return to the camera and once again growl at the camera, indicating he is the one in charge. He will eat whoever he wants, Barbie doll or other. Here he comes, you guys. It's totally scary. He's totally scared. He's totally scared of you. No, he's not. He's going to eat your faces off. And zoom in on the eye, and then pan to black, fade to black. And that was basically the video. I am now talking over what should be no video. I don't need video because you're going to be watching the film synced up. So I'll have to keep running it with additional video, up to 15 minutes. That's the limit for this particular application of screen ripping that I have. So in the film you just saw, the short film, though it wasn't short, it was long short. It was a 10-minute short. The first thing I ever did of any note. I had no gear before then. I had no ability to edit on a computer and do stuff. I had done like some little, some things in my head, little things on Mario Paint with my brother, you know. But this was the first time I actually got to record it and use a camera to input anything. Before then, it was all just animations in Super Mario Paint, whichever way you want to look at it. So the big thing here to know is that that fire was shot in a cast iron pot. That cast iron pot, I just tore up a bunch of paper bag, a bunch of lighter fluid, literally started a fire in the house on a shag rug carpet that was in the living room of Fred's apartment that we rented, or the house we rented. We rented a house from Fred when my mom still lived here in Salisbury. And let us say that wasn't a good plan because I didn't think it out. I just wanted to get the shot. I was so dedicated to getting the shot that I basically did not have water standing by. So when the embers, the burning paper, jumped up out and caught the rug, which it was inevitably going to do, I then had to run post-haste to the kitchen and get water, enough to put out the fire, stop, the house from burning down somehow, from getting caught, catching the whole shag rug on blaze. And, of course, we never got that stain or quite that smell out of the rug in that place. I'm sure Fred never knew because the shag rug was just a mess anyway. But yeah, that's the first time that I shot a movie of any kind with any kind of camera filming footage. And, of course, I chose to do stop motion with some live motion of the items, and the theme being some sort of amphibious lizard, snake, toad, frog attack, that sort of thing, because, of course, I was so heavily influenced by the Giant Gia Monsters movie, which, if you haven't seen it, amazing. Giant Gia Monsters decide to attack a bunch of random teenagers that are trying to hang out and make out and do, random, sexy time things in their hot rods. And it's a black and white film, although there is a colorized version, and I have several editions on DVD. And, so Gia Monsters for the win. There is my homage, my send-off to a great film that really is terrible, like many of the films that I enjoy or watch the most sometimes. So there you go, a little bit of the insight into the crazy creative mind of Raybird. Yours truly, L. Ray Porter.